I come to you groomed, showered, and spayed, here to celebrate the fact that we hit 1,000. So thank you. That was a cool little ride, our first real milestone into the whole YouTube space thing. So this has been really, really awesome. And I feel like I've said that so much already, and some of you are like, yeah, get with the movie reviews. But as long as I have a beard and I'm still alive, swinging that thing, I'm always gonna say thank you, because this is a wanted to jump on to connect with you guys. And if there's one thing you guys have been doing, is connecting with me through here and through IG. So I appreciate it so very much. And I do have a 1,000 video plan that is going to be an introduction of different kind of content, still very much movie related, but in order to give a little bit more variety to the channel, I got that video coming in, expect in the next 2 weeks. It's kind of a big one, so but I'm fucking hyped for it. So anyway, enough of the weirdness. We're here for some movie shit, and today's movie shit, it involves June's list of my most anticipated movies of June. Now I've divided this into 3 sections. I've got my straight up most anticipated 3 horror films of June. Then I've got my non-horror focused 3 most anticipated June films, and then I've got 3 horror bonus films that didn't make it into my list, but I still think are worth looking into and kind of keeping an eye out for them. So without further ado, I'm 12. We are going to get into that list right the fuck now. We're going to start with our horror section, then we're going to lean into our non-horror section, and then we're going to end with our horror bonuses. Let's get into my top 3 most anticipated horror films of June that I think you should know about or also be as excited for. Hopefully I get to put you onto some things. We're gonna work from the top down, number 1 being my most anticipated. So my number 3 is a by far superbly ridiculous concept that I actually thought about maybe one day writing just for shits and giggles, and sure enough, as I thought that, the universe had, nah, fuck you. And it's called Hungry. It's a movie about a group of tourists that go out to the Louisiana swamps and encounter a hungry, fiendish, angry hippo. And if you know anything about hippos, they are considered one of, if not the most lethal creature in the wildlife ecosystem. As far as the hierarchy of the food chain goes, the hippo's jaws are some of the most powerful and terrifying things you could ever get caught up in. So they made a whole movie about the hungry hippo, but they took the hippo out and just kept hungry. And this movie looks fucking ridiculous. It's in Louisiana, which I was just saying, we need more Louisiana-based movies. Nice. It's in Louisiana, and it's literally a creature feature about an angry hippo, because we've about ran our tab on shark movies this year, even though we have another fucking shark movie coming out in June called Chum, which is basically Dangerous Animals, but the Temu version. But we're not talking about that one because it doesn't look good. Anyway, so Hungry is basically a movie about an angry hippo. And it looks ridiculous, and if they camp it up and they make it super stupid and very fun and over the top, I think I'm gonna have a fun time watching this in the theaters. It looks like a good old classic wildlife against man, nature against man kind of thing. It looks so dumb. Again, I'm sure you're seeing how dumb it looks if you're seeing the trailer, but I think it knows it's stupid, and I think that that's exactly what we're in for. And again, I'm all about some Louisiana locations for sure. I think it's there for the taking in terms of atmosphere and vibes. So the fact that it takes place in a Louisiana swamp, at the very least, will give it a different environment from the usual oceanic horrors that we get when it comes to creature features these days. So that's my number 3. Not much to say about that one. My number 2 is a Norwegian creature feature. Yes, we are going hard on the creatures this month. Is another creature feature called Kraken. It is a Norwegian sci-fi horror film. involving a group of marine biologists who go out to the ocean, detect something, and it turns out that it's literally the Kraken. And I mean, hey, listen, I'm a big, big fan of the movie Underwater, which is a completely different creature. It's Cthulhu. Here we're dealing with the Kraken. It all takes place on what seemingly is on the ocean on a ship. And we have both a creature feature and a disaster film about people surviving in the middle of the ocean, which is about as suffocating and claustrophobic as you can get, while also throwing in their mythological creature. I think this is a pretty fun idea. It's also Norwegian. They tend to go pretty hard on creature features. Even if the special effects don't look the best, I'm always willing to forgive bad special effects in way of some good set pieces and fun characters. And I feel like this is kind of going to lean into that. So now I realize I haven't said any of the release dates for these films. So let me walk it back really quick. Hungry comes out June 23rd in theaters, and the Norwegian Kraken comes out June 12th, limited release in theaters and in VOD. Now, my number one film of this month, horror film, that I think looks absolutely unique and looks actually fantastic if you're into these kinds of films, is Rose of Nevada. And Rose of Nevada is if you took the concept of The Lighthouse, yes, Robert Eggers' The Lighthouse, and you put it on a boat. In present times, from what I can tell, but it is shot fully analog, 16 millimeter, even the audio is done in analog. It is a cosmic horror about a group of fishermen that go out to sea on a cursed ship and come back after their venture to realize that they've gone back in time 30 years, and everyone in the village recognizes them as the fishermen who once worked on that ship 30 years prior to them. Now the whole town has gone back in time 30 years, so it has a sort of cosmic element of identity, but also leaning into the isolation of a town that's in the middle of the fucking ocean, and how going out there for for weeks at a time kind of distorts your reality and whatever it is that's influencing this. I'm really interested to see if it's going to dig into it at all, or if it's going to keep it pretty vague, which with cosmic films like The Lighthouse or Beach House, I feel is kind of the way to go, because that adds more to the discourse and conversation. So I'm really excited for this. I do love small town thrillers, those small town cosmic horrors, because I think there's a very distinct living stance when it comes to being on an island where you all have this community and you all have your systems and you recognize each other. I mean, it's really interesting, but the fact that this is basically The Lighthouse, but in a small town and on a ship, really appeals to me. So if you're a cosmic horror fan, this is absolutely for you, and can't wait to see what it's all about. Okay, now for my top 3 most anticipated non-horror films, and I had to do this because I didn't want to take up my space of horror films in my top 5. Like, I wanted to give my horror films their dedicated spots. But there are also a couple of non-horror films that I am genuinely really excited for, and I want to talk about them. There's one in particular that I don't know if a lot of people know about, and I really, really want to put you guys on if it's something that you think would appeal to you, and that's my number 2. But we're going to start with number 3, of course, and my number 3 is actually The Death of Robin Hood, with Hugh Jackman playing Robin Hood. Like, fucking listen, I love my testosterone fueled violent medieval films, just like the next guy, and I love Robert Eggers, and what he did with The Northman was chef's fucking kiss, dude. I literally wanted to paint my face in war paint, age about 50 years, let my hair grow out, and start chopping down trees. That movie was so fucking good. And this kind of looks like it's in the same field and aesthetic in terms of violence and vibe. It is a darker story of Robin Hood. Now, the story of Robin Hood has changed throughout the centuries. And depending on where the story comes from, it has changed many ways. We've got so many iterations, so many books, and this one seems to take a more dark tonal shift, where he is not simply just the philanthropist who is out there stealing from the rich and giving to the poor and trying to do good. He is a stone cold fucking assassin in this, who is protecting a little girl. And I love movies where you have a man hardened by war and death and the hard times of life, and he has to sort of soften himself in order to protect a little girl, while also becoming violent and brutal when the time calls for it. This thing looks fucking beautiful. It looks dark, and it looks metal as shit. Some of the shots in the trailer look like they could be screenshot and put on metal posters to hang around, just like the Northman did with that big fight in the volcano at the end. So I'm all on board for this, and Hugh Jackman is just a badass, and I'm not just talking Wolverine. I think he is genuinely a badass. He's such a great performer. This is just gonna be fucking sick, and I'm sad, dude. I'm fucking sad. I'm gonna go in there with my war paint, shirtless as fuck, and a plastic axe because they won't let me in with a real one. My number two is actually a G-Kids animated film that looks incredibly profound and looks very beautiful, very, very beautiful, as all the G-Kids films tend to be. If you're a big fan of them, then you're definitely gonna love this one in the way that it looks, and it looks like this one's sort of upping the animation even more, and the story is about a guide who takes the souls from the afterlife and makes sure that they can sort of pass through. And the spirit encounters a girl who is full of rage and hatred, and the spirit takes it upon himself to try to keep this this angry soul from corrupting the world and the afterlife as well. And it looks absolutely, I mean, just look at it, dude. It looks beautiful. It looks like it's going to be a profound story that's going to have you thinking, but also it looks like it's going to have some insane action sequences. And I do love my anime films, and I love my animated films, especially when they're original, not just adapted from a manga or anything. Like, this looks absolutely incredible, and I think that this will appeal to people who also may not watch anime. I think there's so much here already that seems very profound and just aesthetically looks beautiful. I don't think you have to be a fan of anime to enjoy these films, so definitely, if this appeals to you in any way, I think you might like it. I'm certainly hopeful that I'm going to love it. So that's my number two. My number one is Masters of the Universe. Now listen, I did not grow up with the 80s iteration of He-Man, but I in fact grew up with the Toonami Cartoon Network version of He-Man, the one that was a lot more brooding, a lot better in detail in terms of animation, and basically took the world of He-Man and made it a little bit more badass for the millennials. And I did grow up with that, and I absolutely loved it. The movie, the animated movie on Cartoon Network, the show, it was just so fucking fun, so badass. I watched every single one. I was very excited. I've also jumped on Kevin Smith's anime stylization of the He-Man series as well, which I know people have their opinions about, but I had a lot of fun watching. So I am very excited for this. I think it looks like a good old classic summer blockbuster. It's directed by Travis Knight, who is the man behind Wildwood, which is definitely on my top most anticipated movies of this year. So this guy just has my attention. Anything he does in this sort of family film realm seems to work. He really is a great director, and the sets here look really good. Eternia looks incredible. Grayskull looks insane. Skeletor looks fucking badass, and the audacity to just go all in on the weirdness of the He-Man ensemble characters like Mechanic. Holy shit, that looks so silly, and I think this movie's gonna be silly, and I'm in for fun. I'll definitely be sat for it, and yeah. Alright, so I've got my bonus horror films here now, so get ready for them. Now, these are ones that didn't make it on my list, but I feel will appeal to you guys as a whole. If you didn't know that they existed, I'm here to tell you that they fucking exist. And these are in no particular order, but I'm gonna start spouting them now. So the first one, I totally realized that I also sped through that list without giving you guys the release date. So June 5th is the release date for both He-Man and Another World, and June 19th is the one for Death of Robin Hood. Now let's go to the bonus. So we're gonna start off with two June 12th releases. The first one is called Camp, and it's basically a witchcraft film about a group of women who go out to a camp site, and they get up to a bunch of witchy shenanigans. I think that it's probably going to be very, very very simple. It looks very simple. It doesn't look anywhere near as like complex as The Craft, although it has a little bit of someone feeling kind of disconnected from the group, learning the way. So it has a little bit of a Craft vibe, but it all takes place in this camp. It definitely looks like it's far removed from something like Forbidden Fruits. This looks like a way more serious, violent take on witchcraft with some interesting special effects, aesthetics, and some animation stylization in one of the scenes that I thought was really interesting. And you can see it; it kind of looks like they use hand drawn animation in one scene. So I don't know. This one looks like it might just take some really good risks. And this one comes out June 12th. It is a theater release, which is really cool. And then the other one is called Underland. Now, Underland is kind of a different thing from what I would usually recommend because it is actually a documentary. But the reason that I find this documentary really interesting is because if you're a conspiracy fuck like I am, or just find the world is so vast and so big and are easily fascinated by shallow earth theories or outer space shit or alien disclosures, this leans into the shallow earth theory, but it's not really theorizing shit because they're actually going into cave systems underneath the earth and exploring and finding hieroglyphics and evidence of other societies, past historical societies, both recorded and non-recorded, and it looks absolutely interesting. And I feel like this is kind of a documentary that would probably shake the scientific community, the historical community in a lot of ways. And I'm definitely going to be watching this one because I think the idea of a shallow earth is kind of fascinating, and to think that maybe we've been on this earth, and to think that it has stayed the way it is now is kind of ridiculous, because I don't in any way, shape, or form believe that we understand, even with all our modern understanding of science and math, and history and all of our systems and tools that we have. I not for once believe that we have it all figured out, and I think it's really cool that a documentary like this is coming out and is kind of speaking towards that, saying, hey, the world is much bigger than you think, and we don't know shit about fuck. So I think this documentary looks really awesome. I will definitely be watching it, and if it's good, I will definitely review it. So yeah, there's that one. Now the next two that I'm going to talk about are actually June 19th releases, but the first one out of those two is a Shudder release, and it's called The Voices of Our Mother. The premise for this one is kind of interesting because it's basically a group of siblings that go home because their mother is sick. They don't know with what, but she is terribly sick. Little do they know that she's actually sick with a demon up her ass, because this thing is making her act weird, and it's altering her personality and her physiology. And obviously there's a lot more lore to go into why the demon chose her, and it does seem kind of like a by the numbers demonic possession film, but there seems to be a different element here of almost kind of like the Haunting of Hill House, where all the siblings are kind of have their baggage that they have to deal amongst themselves while dealing with all this other supernatural shit. And this kind of seems like that, but a little bit more focused, because it's not a show, it's a film, and they all kind of seem to hate each other, but they're all there to take care of her. Now, whatever the fuck this thing is, they show some crazy images of like practical effects demons. So I feel like it might lean towards the hokey side, and hopefully it knows it so that it doesn't come off as cheesy or corny, and it comes off cool, because a lot of times when Shudder does these kinds of movies, I tend to be along for the ride. There's a movie called The Cleansing Hour that I really like, about a fake priest who tries to do an exorcism on live television, and it gets very hokey, but it actually was a fun watch. And when they go into the practical effects, I'm like, yeah, no, this is Shudder. This is the equivalent of like Disney Channel giving you money to make your Disney Channel movie. Shudder, it gives you money to make your silliest fucking movie possible, because this is a place where you go for that, and that's why I love Shudder, because they take risks. You might not see them in theaters, but if you see, you'll definitely find some risk takers on Shudder, and this just looks like it could be either ass, or it could actually be self-aware fun. So keep this on your radar. I'll definitely be reviewing it, and hopefully I've got nothing but good things to say about it. And the last movie that I want to talk about is Leviticus. Leviticus follows a community that's is very extreme, are very extreme devoted Christians, and what they do is they send their children who are gay, and they have them go to a church, and this church, in order to cleanse you of your gayness, they stick a demon onto you, and that demon will take the shape of whoever it is that you're in love with, and if you give into your lust, this demon will assault you and violate you and eventually kill you. And I think that shit could go to some really fucking dark places. It looks kind of crazy. It looks like it's very much in line with the existential dread slow burners of like It Follows or even Obsession. Some of the cinematography is definitely there. So it's interesting. There's this sort of subgenre of like horror lust demons when you look at Obsession being a commentary about love, and you look at It Follows being a commentary on sex, and now you look at this and it's a commentary on same-sex romances. It just looks like there's a whole subsection of horror that is about horniness and love. So I think the visuals look really cool, and I'm actually interested in the intense, like sort of a very devoted Christian dark side of sending your kids out to getting exercised by a demon that you know is chasing your kids. And it looks like it might have a tragic ending because most of these movies do, i.e., It Follows and Obsession. So, yeah. Anyway, that's my list for the month of June. Kind of a low-key month, really. Nothing superbly excited, but we also are in a great time to discover what the some indie classics, maybe some good old movies that other people might not be privy to that you could put them on too. So hopefully all these films are fucking awesome, and I have nothing but awesome reviews through the entire month. But yeah, that is my June video. I will start releasing these a week before every month so that you guys, if you're interested, could save them, put in your watch later list, and then keep track. That way you don't have to write anything down because, hey, I gotcha. Anyway, that's enough blabbing. I guess the road for 10,000 is next. Maybe 5,000. Let's keep it realistic for now. But anyway, thank you guys for showing up. I appreciate you, and as always, I will see you at the movies.